The town of From has suffered destruction like no other town in TV show history, but there's two men! There's two men! Father and son who've suffered a lot of destruction between them. But who had it worst? Was it Victor, who saw his sister and his mum die, and obviously his dad was left behind? Or was it his daddy, who his kids just disappeared and his wife disappeared?
Yeah, it's both guys have kind of suffered the same thing, but in different ways. Victor and Henry, they both lost their mom slash wife. They both lost their daughter slash sister, and they've both been separated, which means they've lost each other. So, I mean, both men have suffered the same losses. The difference is that Victor has suffered these losses while being in the town. Henry has suffered these losses from being out of town. And has Victor had a more difficult life because of this? I mean, probably, but at the same time, Victor's had some weird sort of closure where he knows what happened to his family, whereas Henry doesn't know shit. Henry's basically just woke up one day, his family was gone, and he's not none the wiser whether they're alive, whether they're dead, whether they ran away, why have they not contacted him. So, I mean, Henry doesn't know anything, whereas Victor at least knows the truth. So, 83% of people, 29 votes, 83% saying that Victor suffered more, and I get that. And I mean, you could argue that at least Henry's on the outside world and that he could move on with his life. But even when Tabitha meets him, you get the feeling that this guy hasn't moved on. It's almost like he's I wouldn't go as far as saying he's an alcoholic, because if he was, he wouldn't have been able to recover and just give up the drink and start talking to Tabitha. I think he's living a miserable life where it looks like he's just the kind of guy that will go to work, come home and drink, and that's it. Just
and alcoholics
rinse and repeat.
Don't really make it to Henry's age, especially if he's been doing it for the past 40 years, which obviously is how long it's been. But
seems like someone that's just like kind of cut himself off from the outside world, that hasn't really wanted to make a good life for himself, and he's just someone who's getting by. That's what it seems like.
But
we've all been there.
We've all been there. But you've got to look at it. Victor obviously knows that his sister and mum were dead.
Just said that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm breaking it down. But he knows his father could be alive, but he knows his father's not there, so it's up in the air. As for Henry, he doesn't actually know if any of them are dead. You would obviously assume, because like, where did they go? But nice, you know what I mean?
Have you anything to add, or have you just literally repeated word for word what I was saying? The difference between the two, father and son.
Yeah, but what's worse is
that Victor at least has the closure that he knows where he is and that he's away from his father, trapped in this town, and that his family are dead. And Henry's the opposite. He doesn't know whether his wife took the kids and left them, or whether they died a horrible death. He doesn't know any of that, right?
So what's worse, being up in Henry not knowing, but realistically accepting that you're never going to see them again, or Victor knowing that two of the three are dead, but his dad could still be alive? You know,
I think it's kind of worse for Henry, because the guy's got no closure. The guy's got no answers.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think it is.
I mean, imagine waking up one day and your wife has left you and she's took the kids and they've never came back to see you, like 40 years later, and you're probably thinking, what did I do to deserve this? Why did they walk out me? Was I a horrible father? Was I a horrible husband? I mean, the guy's got no answers, doesn't know where they are, doesn't know if they're alive. It must be a horrible existence. As bad as it is for Victor, Victor knows that, you know, there's this like evil town that's cruelly took away his family, but I mean, he knows that.
Yeah, and I think that's the key difference. I mean, I'm not surprised people have voted Victor, right? Because you've seen Victor. He's clearly not right in the head due to this town. He's had a very tough upbringing. Hell, I mean, I tell you what, like, look how many years he survived for a talisman. That's pretty impressive. But it depends on your personality. Would you rather closure, or would you rather the hope that they could still be there? I'm going to go with Henry. We're going to go with the minority here on Fog Entertainment. But I see why people went with Victor. But when you actually break it down, I think it is Henry. Because also, it's easier. It's harder to comprehend when you're a child. You know what I mean? Like, Victor losing his sister and his mom at, like, age 6. it's almost not as bad, I don't think, comparing, like, if you're like a grown man, 40-year-old man, and you know your family's just completely vanished. Do you see where I'm coming from?
Oh yes.
Because I mean, look at Victor, man, playing with the boy in white on the roundabout. But we'll be back with more videos here from episode 5 is tonight. These two are going to have a sit-down conversation. Well, hopefully it ends in something good. But I mean, Victor's actually did a runner. So we'll see you guys later on the night. Till then, peace.